game, make a game, what's a game, what's a game? I'm a Kamen Rider.
What's up, everybody? It's the Quarter Guy, and since I haven't really thought of that much news that's really noteworthy, that's not going to be covering the questions at least, but this is basically going to be an update week. So let's start with the big update of the week. Once again, it's time for the Midwest Gaming Classic. Now, the Midwest Gaming Classic, for those of you who don't know, is a big trade show and gaming celebration event that takes place every year in Milwaukee. Originally, it took place at the Brookfield Sheraton, but last year and this year, well, last year it moved to the Wisconsin Center in downtown Milwaukee, and it's going to be there again this year. It's going to be taking place this coming Friday through Sunday, the 12th through the 14th. Friday's reserved for special events there, but the main show takes place Saturday and Sunday, and that's when I'll be there. There's going to be all sorts of gaming events there, like the latest stop on the Neo Geo World Tour 2, which is basically an SNK-sponsored esports event with various tournaments on various SNK classics like Samurai Showdown and King of Fighters. There's also going to be tons of pinball machines, tons of guests panels, lots of classic and modern arcade console games there, of course the vendor hall, and a bunch of guest panels too, and special guests including Sven Gulli, Henry Hudson from Ghostbusters, and Eric Bischoff for all you wrestling fans out there. And who knows, you might see me there if you're in the Milwaukee area that weekend, so that's going to be fun. It's always a highlight of my year as a gaming YouTuber. And also, next update is I am currently working on the script for my next arcade retrospective. Progress is coming along really smoothly. I've got my footage recorded for that one. So that's going to be coming out this month. I'm trying to think of a topic for the following month's countdown, but for my next arcade retrospective after Ninja Baseball Batman, I'm planning on taking a look at the Tower of Druaga with a more critical eye. Because there's some things I want to say about that game, not gonna lie. Okay. So, I guess that's really all. Oh wait, that's right, I forgot one more thing. I have officially updated my Patreon, in case you haven't seen my Patreon update video for that, with the updated rewards on that, which includes access to my new Discord server. So, if you wanna see more about it, look for my Patreon update video, or click my Patreon link down in the description, or just wait until the end cards at the end of the video. And for my question of the week, do you prefer Skype or Discord, and why? As always, leave your answers in the comments. Favorite comments will be featured in the next episode. Here are last week's winners. And with that, time for the fourth wall mailbag. As always, look for the community post, and I'll answer my favorite questions in the next episode. By the way, since the NGC is this weekend, I'm not sure if I'll be able to get to one of these next week, but just a heads up. First question comes from Moon Angel Fire, who asks, are there any countdowns from your Castlevania month you would be willing to remake now that you have played Lords of Shadow? Well, my favorite Castlevania games remains unchanged, as well as the themes, but there is one list out of those 5 I'd probably be willing to remake, and that would be the worst Castlevania bosses list, because, oh boy, there were a couple bosses in Lords of Shadow that I really did not like. And one in particular is probably now among my least favorite bosses in the entire franchise. mainly because of how tedious and frustrating it was. Not to mention boring. And on that note, I probably need to update my top 10 favorite Castlevania bosses. Well, top 15 it was originally, but oh boy. And I still might end up playing Haunted Castle because, well, that's going to be in Konami's arcade collection. Konami's actually trying to remind people that they made games. What are the odds of that? Okay, next question comes from Drawboy66, who asks, what are your thoughts on Yoshi's Crafted World? Well, as expected, it is impossibly adorable, incredibly charming, and there's actually quite a lot of stuff to do throughout these levels. I mean, you've got the normal collectathon, you've got the reverse side with the time trials and the Poochie Pups, and also looking for all that extra stuff to get more smiley flowers. Though I will admit, the soundtrack is definitely weak in comparison to past Yoshi games. Probably because there's so few tracks in comparison to even Woolly World. Of course, it's not as bad as Yoshi's New Island soundtrack. Not much in the Yoshi series could be worse than that, not gonna lie. But it's definitely a charming and fun game. I'm having a lot of fun with it. So, yeah. Next question comes from a Silent Protagonist, who asks, if you could pick one of Xenoblade Chronicles 2's main cast to be in Smash, who would you pick? The answer is actually pretty obvious. It is Rex. Well, I mean, I talked about it when I did my top 10 characters I want in Smash Ultimate countdown, and Rex and Pyro were number 2, and they probably function as a dual character, kind of like the Ice Climbers. Well, maybe not, kind of like somewhere between the Ice Climbers and Rosalina and Luma to some extent. I mean, if you've played Xenoblade Chronicles 2, you know how drivers and blades work together, and I figured it'd be sort of the same thing, but, and to expand on that, I'd probably maybe include Nia as an assist trophy, if assist trophies were to be added. I mean, if we could add more assist trophies, yeah, because Nia's an important supporting character, and, she's, from what I've heard, she's actually rather a bit of a fan favorite among fans of Xenoblade Chronicles 2. So, that's where I am with that. Next question comes from Petro DC16 Omega, who asks, are you hyped about Borderlands 3? Well, I'm a bit conflicted. Well, for one thing, well, on one hand, the game trailers look pretty awesome, and the new characters look hype as hell, and besides, I had tons of fun with Borderlands 1 and 2, especially in co-op. On the other hand, there are a couple things that kind of bug me. First off, there was that story about Randy Pitchford. I don't want to really get into it in detail, but for those of you who want to find out more about what was going on with him, yeah, look it up. It's not exactly pretty. And second is, well, even though my PC hasn't been updated, well, my PC is still from 2013, so one day I hope to eventually update it, but I kind of feel bad. I can understand the anger that some PC fans are having towards what's going on right now, considering the exclusivity deal that 2K Games and 2K Games and possibly Gearbox cut with the Epic Games Store, making the game exclusive to their PC store for 6 months. I'd probably play the console version anyway, but still, I'm pretty sure the reason has to do with the fact that Epic is offering a bigger cut to developers, but the problem is, from what I've seen, Epic Games Store's launcher is lacking a lot of crucial features at this point, and it's not really good for consumers. It feels like the sort of thing that PC gamers were mocking the console wars for is happening now with stuff between Epic and Steam, and it's actually kind of ironic. So yeah, I am interested in Borderlands 3, but at the same time I do have some concerns about it. And that's where I stand right now. Last question this week comes from Gustavo Shavaria, who asks, since a piranha plant is in Smash Brothers, what about Angry Bird sound? Out.